Okay, so very easy chapter. What we will do, there are three sections we need to study. The two natural phenomena you'll be studying is one is lightning and one is earthquake. But before you study lightning, so our story will go something like this. First, we will talk about a little bit about charges, concept about charges, and then the story will go around a natural phenomena. Okay, natural phenomena. And once it goes into a natural phenomena, after that we will study some attributes related to it. That is, the natural phenomena will be lightning, and we will study something about lightning's attributes. Okay, so our talk starts with charges today. Now, so we'll grasp into the main things. These are basics. You will read them again in grade 10 a bit, again in grade 12. So let's talk about matter. Okay, this is a piece of matter, and matter has got some intrinsic properties. Like matter will always have mass. Matter also occupies some volume, some space it will occupy. Even if it's gas, it will occupy the space in which it is enclosed, right? Now, one of the intrinsic properties about matter is that matter also has charge associated with it. A charge is a property, is a physical property. Okay, its charge is associated with matter, because end of the day, now you children know that if I want to go this matter at a very lower level, then I will end up in something which is known as an atom. And if you go into an atom into more lower level, then the atom has something called a nucleus. This you will study later. In the nucleus, you will find that there are two types of particles, one known as the proton and one known as the neutron. Okay, these are some things you will study in higher classes. The proton is a charged particle, which is a positively charged particles. Apart from the nucleus, there is also something which is called the electrons, which are revolving in orbits, and the electrons are negatively charged particle. तो ये सत्य तो कोई उठा ही नहीं सकता है that matter is composed of charges, and a charge is a intrinsic property of matter. मतलब matter के अंदर का property, like kindness, empathy, jealousy, these are all your intrinsic properties. They are not seen outside. These are there, built inside you. So charge is a, we call it as an intrinsic property. Okay, intrinsic property of matter. Have you understood this? Okay, and this was the concept of charge gradually started getting inside the head of man when physics is something about till you discover something. Somebody brushed something with something, they saw some sparks getting produced. Somebody must have, as you children and kids, when you grow from nursery to higher classes, you rub that ruler on your head and you start picking up paper and you think, acha, isme bhi kuch hai, kuch attraction ho raha hai. Now, whether that is magnetism or charge, we don't know, but that's how the brain starts developing and quantifying something about that. There is something called, Greeks named something called electra, then they had a material called amber. So the concept of charge, it says that every matter should has something called charge associated with it. Ye samajh mein aaya? A charge is it's an electrical quantity and it is associated with matter. Now this is an intrinsic property, and when you go to higher classes, you will study that charge is always quantized. Ye thoda sa higher level par rahe hain hum, not at grade 10 level. Charge is quantized. Now let us understand what we mean by quantized. Quantized ka matlab hai, a charge is in the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Have you understood? In small counts, quanta. Quanta is small packets. Like the children in the class are in the count of human beings. I can have one child, one more child. Sir, in our class there are 23.82 children. ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? नहीं हो सकता है. Child count is quantized. Either take 6 children in your class or take 7 children. Or 6.5 mein we can cut a child and give it to both the classes. Have you understood? Charge is also quantized. So when you go to higher classes, you will see charge is represented by the symbol Q. Okay, charge is denoted by Q. Now, obviously, based on, as we talk later, positive and negative, there can be a negative charge, there can be a positive charge. So the positive charge is called a plus Q, the negative charge is called a minus Q. And Qs can come as 1Q, 2Q, 3Q, 4Q, up to how much? N Qs, where N is a natural number. N cannot be an integer, N cannot be a whole number, because if you say whole number, तो उसमें 0 आ गया. ये बातें grade 8 में नहीं चाहिए. but we are learning it from the perspective that आगे चल के तो पढ़ेंगे ही 12 वगैरह में. So this concept should be known to you. Okay. So tell me now, have you understand the basic of charge? So charge is it's a electrical quantity associated with matter. And when we talk about charge, then our next topic would be what are the different types of charges? Types of charges. Right. Different type of charges. Now to conceptualize this different type of charges, what our man must have thought, okay, man का thought process कैसे होता है, like initially charging was always seen by rubbing, you know, two, say, substances, common sense. And after rubbing two substances, so let's say I have a substance A and I have another substance, say B. This is substance A and substance B. Then I found that how does the concept of two charges come up? I rubbed two substances, right? And then similarly, another similar A and B were also rubbed. Another A and another B were also rubbed. Same material, okay? Same material, AB. Ek rub kya? One more rubbed. And then what they did, they brought B and A together and they found that there is an attraction between B and A, right? And when they're bringing A and A together, they're finding that there is a repulsion. Or when they're bringing B and B together also, they're finding that there is a repulsion. That means there is something in A, which is not in B. यही तो concept है ना? Something in A which is in B, but both are not the same thing. Let me put my words more better. A has got something, B must have also got something. But what A got and what B got are not of the same trait. That slowly conceptualized person to think about. Then, higher level you'll study that, in protons and all, a lot of experiments were done. So the concept came up that charges were attributed to two types. And the most interesting thing about these two types are that both the types are equal in magnitude. Okay, what does this mean? It means you can't say that the charge, there are two types of charges now, charge A, charge B, okay? Just imagine, charge A is nowhere less than charge B. It is only that charge A is something of opposite property as compared to charge B. I understood? Like in higher classes, it's like darkness and light. Light and darkness, equal intensity of darkness, equal intensity of light, but both of them are completely different to each other in their sign. So now we will go ahead. So itna concept samajh mein aa raha hai. Two substances were rubbed, say A and B, and then again two substances A and B. When A and A are brought in contact together, they repel. B also repel, but A and B brought together, they start attracting. And this attraction and repulsion, this force was found equal. Whatever was this force and this force, they are found equal. That means force is equal, but the nature of force is opposite. Which brings me to the next level of thought, that charges are of two types. And to make it easy, rather than calling it Mickey charge and Donald charge, they said that one type of charge, they said that this is a positive charge, and the other type of charge they called it as negative charge. अच्छा बच्चा यहाँ पे एक चीज समझना है, nobody makes this powerful or this powerful, they are equally strong, okay, but they are two types, and these two charges are equal in magnitude. Magnitude means the value, the absolute value, equal in magnitude, but opposite in, I get a new word now, which we call as opposite in polarity. We don't call sign, we call the word as polarity. The polarity of the two charges are just opposite. Have you understood? I'll just take a quick detour from here. And if you go to the chapter, though you have not studied in grade 8, but this much knowledge you have. If you look at magnetism, magnetism is also intrinsic property of matter. A matter may be magnetic, may not be magnetic, but it's an intrinsic property. Magnetism में the equivalent of charge is known as pole. Poles, है ना? And poles are also of two types: North Pole, South Pole. Again, they are of equal strength, but opposite in polarity. But there is a difference between these two. There is a difference between these two. In physics, this charge will be known as what, beta? Plus Q. This charge will be known as minus Q. In physics, ये सब काल्पनिक है, okay? In physics, uni charge concept is valid, okay? But unipole is not valid. Means in the language of physics, a plus Q exists, a minus Q exists, but a north pole alone does not exist. A south pole alone does not exist. Then came one Satan bachcha. He said, sir, हम एक मैग्नेट ले लिए, this is north pole, this is south pole, और बीच में तोड़ दिया, तोड़ दो तो ये यहाँ पे फिर साउथ पोल डेवलप कर लेगा, यहाँ पे नॉर्थ पोल. यूनिपोल कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है. सो फार ओके, देवांश समझ में आ रहा है? तो यूनिपोल कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, यूनि चार्ज कॉन्सेप्ट है. You can have a plus charge, but you can have a minus charge, but you cannot have a north pole alone, you cannot have a south pole alone. So they are analogous to each other. Like what is charges in electricity is what is poles in magnetism. So charges are of two types. One charge is known as a positive charge, and one charge has been assigned as a negative charge. Just like we said that if it's a red light on the road, we will stop. If it's a green light, we move. If you follow the opposite, heavens will not fall, provided everyone also follows the opposite. Let's say tomorrow from red light we start moving on, and green light we start stopping. What changes? Nothing changes. Unless you go to some other country and start banging your car because you are habituated to move on red. Have you understood? Now, let's also understand some practices in order which we get to understand about the concept of charge. Okay. Now, charge polarity. Charge polarity. और यहाँ से आपको questions आ जाते हैं. Charge polarity. So, this is the most easiest way to understand, and I'll give you one desi mantra and you will understand it very easily. If you take a glass rod, okay, this is a glass rod, and you start rubbing it with a piece of silk cloth. Okay, silk cloth. You're rubbing it. Tuck, 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 okay. So we say glass rod rubbed with silk. So both the bodies will get charged. Now here is the concept. Here is called a convention. What we call it? Convention. Convention is something that is accepted and generally practiced. At red light, please stop. At green light, please move. It's a convention. आपने सबने मिलके. So the convention that is given here, both will get charged. Okay. Now when you rub a glass rod with silk, the glass rod acquires a positive charge, and the charge that comes on the silk cloth will be taken as a negative charge. तो आपको कोई बोल सकता है, how do you define a positive charge? So you say, take a glass rod, rub it with silk cloth. In this process, both the bodies will get charged. Both the bodies will get charged. The charge that will be developed on the glass rod is known as the positive charge, whereas the charge that will be developed on the silk cloth is known as the negative charge. This is the convention. How to remember this? Children, just now you have done the chapter of taxation. Have you understood GST? GST सुना होगा. GST को छोड़कर यहाँ GSP पढ़िए. Glass rubbed with silk positive. Now you may again have a confusion in exam. Sir, glass positive or silk positive? So P means पहले glass है, तो glass positive. No confusion. Did you understand how to do it? Because by next year you'll forget. So how to remember it? Remember GSP. GST से GSP, glass with silk positive. इसका मतलब क्या है? Glass and this is silk and this is positive. Now who is positive? P starts from Sanskrit बोलते हैं, संस्कृत प्रथम. प्रथम में कौन है? Glass. A glass positive. लिख के बना लो. You will not forget, but by the next time when you come to class, you'll forget who develops positive and who develops negative. Glass rubbed with silk will always develop a positive charge, and silk will develop. No, it is nothing like that. Try to understand. Silk has also developed a charge, but there is, you cannot see a positive charge. To someone I have to say, how do you, why are you saying this is black in color? Because from generation somebody has said this color is black. Say the world is demolished today by some biological bombing, and tomorrow only I am alive. And whatever new children start coming up, I say this is red, red. So this becomes red. Yes or no? It is a convention. Rather, you should have asked me. The thing would have been wrong if I would have said silk will not acquire any charge. Both will acquire charge. Equal strength. But they are of opposite nature. So if you call this mitha, this is kadwa. Or you call it, but they stuck with the concept that let the glass get the positive charge. This was said like that. Have you understood? Like in coin tossing, you say head and tail. Head can be seen. How do you see a tail? Do you see any tail in that coin? No, I see just numbers. Right. So based on this, some more interesting things were brought. Things which were clear objects like glass or acrylic. Bacha, do you know what is acrylic? All towers in our apartment after B tower, the window panes are not made of glass, they are all made of acrylic. Now I think you understand. A and B tower had glasses. These are all acrylic, they are not glass. Your geometry box scale, acrylic. They are not glass. Acrylic. Glass specs will be very heavy. They will make a mark on your nose. Fibers. These are fibers, by the way. Acrylic is also a type of fiber. Have you understood? Anything that is clear, like a glass or an acrylic, if you rub that with even Mishka also, these will all acquire what charge? Positive charge. Have you understood? And everything that is polythene plastic, like a carry bag, polythene type plastic, like a balloon, a rubber sheet, all these will always occur negative charge. So now if somebody tells you glass rubbed with carry bag, plastic carry bag, what is the charges? You can easily say glass is positive, carry bag is negative. Have you understood? Clear, bacha? Butter paper rubbed with glass rod, butter paper rubbed with pencil box scale. Butter paper will take up negative charge, pencil box scale will take up positive charge. So what did we learn? Charges are of two types, positive and negative. Both the charges are equal in magnitude but opposite in polarity, and the concept of unicharge does exist. And the concept that is given for the convention that we follow is when you rub glass with silk, both get charged. However, the charge that is on the glass rod has been attributed to be the positive charge. So definitely the other one becomes negatively charged. Have we understood? Okay, so we go, yeah. Glass rod is wooden rod. If you take it a wooden rod and you rub with silk, silk still gets a negative charge. Yes, charge has to be, if you and me, we rub our hands together, one thing cannot get charged, the other thing has to get charged. That we'll understand. Right. चलिए थोड़ा और देखते हैं इसको. So let's say you have a body A and you are rubbing it with the body B by now, and you rub it, rubbing. This rubbing is a very non-science language, so we can replace it with a word called friction, है ना? रब करना मतलब फ्रिक्शन पैदा करना. फ्रिक्शन पैदा करना मतलब दोनों सरफेस क्या हो रहा है, सरफेस टू सरफेस कांटेक्ट में आप घिस रहे हो. ये चार्जिंग होता कैसे है? Now if you allow me to go a little bit in higher level, then if you look at matter and the structure of matter, then the atom is something like this. This is the nucleus where you have a charged particle called proton and a neutral particle called neutron. This is the nucleus. The nucleus is closely bound. Understood? Protons, though are charged particles, do not have the liberty to roam about like the children of our apartment. They are always inside their mother's supervision. बैठ चुपचाप बैठा रहता है, कहीं भी नहीं जा सकता है. Whereas the darling electrons are like all the kids in our apartment. Till night 10 o'clock they are all playing outside. ये घूमते रहता है बाहर, है ना? आपके वहां भी ऐसा है क्या देवांश? रात के 10 बजे तक बच्चे बाहर खेलते हैं, देखा? So that problem is generation problem. So these are electrons, okay? So when you rub them, what happens? फ्रिक्शन होता है, और फ्रिक्शन से क्या होता है? इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसफर होना शुरू हो जाता है. इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसफर. No proton transfer takes place because protons are all within their mother's jurisdiction. चुप बैठा रहेगा प्रोटॉन, कुछ नहीं करेगा. Only electron. Now just think. I am body A and this is body B, right? If I don't rub, इधर भी देखिए मैडम, लोग खाली लिखते मत रहिए. If I don't rub body A and body B, I would say that their status is electrically neutral. That means they don't carry any charge, net charge. They don't carry any net charge. Achha, what is net charge? Net charge means they do have positive and negative, but the count is equal. So if there are n negative charge, there are n positive charge. If there are m negative charge, then there are m positive charge. Ultimately, one असुर one देवता, one असुर one देवता, m असुर m देवता, तो अलग के कैंसिल कर दिया है. समझ में आया? This is electrically neutral. Now when you do this ghiso, that is the friction, then electron transfer takes place. Now let's understand that you are rubbing these two against each other, or you're trying to cause friction against each other, and it is such that you will not understand now. In higher classes you will understand why only this law. Suppose some 5 electrons migrated from here to here, right? And let's give it a little bit more of mathematics. Let's say we had 10 electrons and 10 positive. We had 7 negatives and 7 positives. लेकिन Your Honor, इसके बाद क्या हो गया? इसके पास हो गया है अभी 5 negatives, 10 positives. इसके पास हो गया है 12 negatives and 7 positives. If you now do the arithmetic, this fellow is excess with plus 5 charges. This fellow will be exactly excess with negative 5 charges. हिसाब समझ में आया? Magnitude is same. Acha. Many children think that if this fellow has acquired positive charge, then some protons must have run from here to here. भागो! Proton भाग ही नहीं सकता है. भागता कौन है? Electron. It's only the electron who is going to move and create positive and negative, because an electron is like that. If I leave you, I create positive unhappiness in you and I take the negative happiness to somebody. Have you understood? Clear? अच्छा, एक और चीज भूल गया था, अभी याद आया. याद आ गया तो लिखना तो पड़ेगा. What? I didn't write something which is known as the unit of charge. The unit of charge. The unit of charge is something called Coulomb. Coulomb, after the name of the scientist Coulomb. Coulomb, C-O-U-L-O-M-B. C-O-U-L-O-M-B, and denoted with capital C. So this will be called as, for example, plus 5 Coulomb C, plus 5 Coulomb, negative 5 Coulomb, like Coulomb, C-O-U-L-O-M-B. Coulomb is the unit of charge. So, bacha, do you understand now how charges are transferred from one body to another body? Charges are transferred, or how is a body charged? A body can be charged only by rubbing with another body. In this case, a friction is generated. Due to friction, sufficient heat is generated, and this heat is sufficient for some electrons to get transferred from one body to another. Which body will lose electron, which will gain, it is beyond your level now. But you understand that there is some adan pradan of electrons. So if you leave electrons, then you become positively charged, and to whoever houses they have gone, they carry the negative charge out there. Is this much understood? Clear? And the unit of charge is coulomb. और आगे बढ़े. Till here anything? Greek, Roman, Latin, Hebrew? No, nothing. Very good. Very intelligent children, huh? Let's go a little bit more forward. Okay. Now, so let's look at the type of. Let's look at some solids. Okay, solids. Solids from the perspective of electricity, from electricity's perspective, are classified in three categories. One category is known as conductors. You very well know what are conductors. Conductors are those solids which conduct electricity. Then we also have something which are known as insulators. Okay. Further conductors can also be GC, DC. Good conductors, bad conductors. A good conductor is one which has a lot of free electrons, a lot of charge carriers. A bad conductor has less. Bad conductor also conducts, but not as good conductor. But insulator is somebody who does not conduct at all. Insulators are those which have no charge carriers. And these have charge carriers. And these charge carriers are usually always electrons. Or rather we say free electrons. The insulator does not have free electrons. Conductors have free electrons. If you have free electrons, only then you can conduct. And you remember the chapter Chemical Effects of Electric Current, where we said that you are a liquid. In that case, your charge carriers are ions, cations, meow, and anions. Remember? Liquids have two types of charge carriers, cations. Whereas, as I always say, liquid के पास दो courier service है, DTDC, Blue Dart. Conductors के पास एक ही है, वो है electrons. Okay, and that is electrons. Have you understood? Fine. Okay, now we go a little bit ahead. Now, so yeah, where was I? Conductors and insulators. Now, charging of a conductor versus insulator. Okay. Now say suppose कैसे बनाओ? Suppose this is your hand and you are holding what is called a particular conductor. Okay, you are holding a conductor, and similarly ये आपका हाथ है and you are holding something known as a insulator. This is an insulator, right? If you see a conductor and insulator, the difference is now this hand is definitely a part of a human being's body, right? And this is also a part of a हाथ ठीक ठाक नहीं बना ना, अभी अभी ठीक बना है. This is also a part of a human being's body. ठीक है? Now, when you charge a conductor, when you will be charging the conductor, okay, what happens? You cannot charge a conductor. You cannot charge the conductor by holding it in your body. The reason is the human body is also a conductor, and say as soon as some charge gets developed on it, say some positive charges have got developed on it, these positive charges will run down through you. Okay, these will run down through you and ultimately will go down to the earth. This process is known as earthing. Flow of charges from a charged body via a human body or a wire to the ground is known as earthing. इसको हम पढ़ेंगे आगे और डिटेल में. Have you understood? A conductor cannot be charged if you means by holding it in hand. If you charge a conductor by holding it in hand, the conductor has got charge carriers in it. Who are the charge carriers? Electrons. ये सब भूतनी का दौड़ना शुरू कर देगा. दौड़ते दौड़ते आपके शरीर के अंदर से घुस के जमीन के अंदर चला जाएगा, and this process is known as earthing. Earthing is a process, और इसको हम और डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. A process by which the charge from the surface of a conductor or any metallic substance, rather I should say a charge from the surface of a substance which conducts electricity. So the better word is what? Conductor, runs down through a human body or maybe a wire or another conductor and is able to travel right to the ground is known as earthing. As a result of this process, no charge is sustained on the body of that particular solid, that is the conductor. Have you understood? Whereas if you are an insulator and you had some charges, say you had some positive charges created on you, these charges will happily stay on you. They will happily stay on you. As what? As static charge. As what? Static charge. Now you must be thinking, you're getting it. Have you seen sometimes when you wear too much of sequin clothes and other thing, and you take off your t-shirt like those football and other t-shirts, like charak 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 karke marta hai? That's nothing but the static charge which is there on your on that body of that insulator substance, which is now being conducted through your body. I have this problem huge. If I sit in front of a large screen television and watch TV for 10, 15, 20 minutes, after that, if I hand over anything to anyone, it will ring quite big. Means so much that if I watch a movie for 2 hours, I literally get scared to touch the water tap also. I'll first touch it with my nails, then it will be touch karega. Even door, those wire meshes are there on the door, right? There's charge. More you'll see. If you bring some, I don't know, you have seen that reel. There's a silky flag on some Chinese kids are all made to stand in a row, and a silky flag is just moved over their head, and the flag is taken off. Everyone's hair becomes like the hair stand up. That is charges. That is static electricity. Similarly, if you bring nylon clothes or something and start moving on top of your hand, you will see your body hairs also responding to it. That's because at that time, it is not that the charge is on your body. On your body, no charge remains, because if you are a human being, you conduct electricity. The charge is on that fabric, as a result of which it is coming up. So, ये चीज समझ में आया आपको? You cannot charge a metallic, and we just got an exposure to a topic called earthing, a process by which the charge on the surface of any metallic substance or a conductor is transferred to the ground via a human body or any other wire or wired conductor. A wire or a conductor is called earthing, for the charge to move down. Whereas if you are an insulator, then the charge does not move down, it remains on the surface. समझ में आया? Okay, our next topic on this basis itself is something called static electricity. लिख लो, I'm waiting. Let me also check something. By that time, some call had come. Oh, you want the before slide? Okay. Done. इतना समझ में आया तो तब तक क्या सीखा? मैटर होता है पदार्थ. मैटर की एक अंदरूनी प्रॉपर्टी होती है चार्ज. It's an electrical property which is an intrinsic property of matter, and charges are of two types, positive and negative. Positive and negative are only differing in the names of in terms of their polarity. Magnitude remains the same. ये समझ में आया? Okay. Whenever a body is rubbed with another body, they will get charged, and this accumulation of charge happens due to transfer of electrons only. A body which loses electrons will actually deposit positive charge on the body from where it is going, and to the body on which it has got deposited will carry the negative charge out there, right? SI unit of charge is known as coulomb, right? Written as capital C. Then what did we study? How do you assign, or what is the convention? Glass, when rubbed with silk, glass is supposed to acquire positive charge, and all clear substances like glass and acrylic are always said to have positive charge attributed, whereas polythene type plastics are to have acquired negative charge to them. But good. Then we talked about that if we talk about insulators and conductors, conductors have charge carriers in the name of electrons, insulators have no charge carriers. So if you charge them by friction or by rubbing and you are holding them in your hand, the charge, it will get charged, but the moment it gets charged, the charge will run down through its body down to the ground. Process is known as earthing, and the charge will not be restored or will not sustain. The other better word is the conductor will not sustain the charge, whereas the insulator will sustain the charge. And that's the reason why we see these static electricity incidences which happen to us. Okay, आगे चले. Okay, so sorry, static electricity is another example of static electricity is एक चला गया था, चलो कोई बात नहीं, पिछले बंदे. Another example of static electricity is day to day, when you get sparks, when you wear clothes and you see your body hair responding to it. So we talk a little bit about that. Static electricity. Okay. Now let's say that there is a wire mesh out here, which we have in our windows. This is a wire mesh, right? And jolly good fellow, Mr. Jaideep Das, is going and touching this. And when he touches this, he immediately finds that there is a bit of some sound. Okay? And on fine day, you can also see a spark also. You can also see a spark. Some touch and spark. Thoda spark bhi hota hai. Okay? Now our job, next part is to actually magnify this portion and try and understand what actually is happening out here. What actually is happening out here. Okay. So in this case, obviously uska ek thumb rahega. This is the thumb portion. All right. This is the thumb portion. And there is the wire mesh portion. Now, if I'm wearing very good rubber slippers and all, then the charge is contained in my body. A conductor can contain a charge if you can cut its connection from the ground. So let you charge me by making me sit in front of a LED TV for 2-3 hours and make me wear good rubber slippers and ask me not to touch anything. Yeah, I'm also charged. Are you understanding? And this wire mesh is also charged. In between this wire mesh and me, there is something which is known as an air gap. An air gap, right? So what happens when the thumb at that time, this is also a charged particle, or the thumb can have two scenarios. It can be either charged or it can be uncharged. Do you agree? Majority 99.9% you will be uncharged. तुम्हारा thumb में charge नहीं रहेगा. However, the wire mesh and the other body, whatever it is, it will have charge in it. Now, uncharged, charged. समोसे का दुकान, भूखा लड़का. समोसा किधर जाएगा? भूखे में जाएगा. Now, this charge is curious to enter here and it is finding the other thing in very quick vicinity. So, how to make you understand properly? Let this be bed 1 and let this be bed 2. This is our fellow Devans when his age is 2 years old. Now he is curious to jump from this bed to the other bed. सब लोग करते हैं. If the beds are far apart, he will not jump. When it comes to a distance where his hinge says, शायद पार कर लूंगा, इसके अंदर that खुजली starts, that I will be able to jump, and he will jump. Similarly, when the vicinity is so much between these two, this charge is now curious to come to this side. Are you understanding? In order, when it comes this side, it will ionize. Ionize means it will knock off the protons from here and it will ionize, and rather the air gap will also become conducting. Have you understood? That gap is very small. It will ionize, and due to ionization, heat will be developed, and this heat will be seen as a spark. And so heat energy means you're converting it into light energy, and that touch जो है वो sound energy में convert हो जाएगा, है कि नहीं बेटा? और थोड़ा सा अगर इससे भी ज्यादा है तो आपको थोड़ा सा गर्मी भी लगेगा. This entire thing is known as electric discharge. So what is electric discharge? Electric discharge is a discharge of electricity which is followed by a spark as well as a small sound or a noise when two charged body or one charged and one neutral body come sufficiently close to each other. देखो मैं कोई definition याद नहीं करता हूँ, इसको इंग्लिश में बोल रहा हूँ. Sufficiently close to each other that they are able to heat and ionize the air gap and make the air gap conducting. They need a road to come ना. ये बच्चा jump मारेगा. For that, this air gap has to be small. Then only he will jump. And when he jumps, yeah, बोलता है ना. That is the electric discharge. That was the happiness discharge. This is electric discharge. So let's again say, what is electric discharge? Electric discharge is the spark accompanied with sound. It's just the flow of charges from a charged body to another oppositely charged or a neutral body by ionizing and heating the air gap between them, creating a spark accompanied with a sound. टच करके जाएगा. आप समझ में आया? यही जब बादलों में होता है तो लाइटनिंग हो जाता है. कॉन्सेप्ट इज वेरी सिंपल. एडवांस नींद आ रहा है बच्चा, मजा आ रहा है. नींद आने से बेटा पेंसिल ले लो, ये अंदर घुसा लो और दबा दो उंगलियों में. नींद गया है ना. और else you can be like Advait, open up another YouTube channel, देखो बढ़िया से मूवी या कुछ देख रहा होगा और ऐसे मुंह बना के रखेगा जैसे वेरी अटेंटिव इन द क्लास, नींद नहीं आएगा फिर. माने Advait means not our Advait, some other Advait. Yeah, Advait is a proper noun. It cannot be only one Advait. Hi beta, how are you? See, he has replied. I didn't say. How does he know that I was calling him only? It is like, hey, kitchen में कौन है? मैं बिस्किट नहीं खा रहा हूँ. Yes sir.
When the clouds clashes.
क्लाउड अभी आया ही नहीं यार, अभी उंगलियों के झटके में क्लाउड में जाएंगे आगे. अभी उंगलियों के झटके में है. समझ में आया? इलेक्ट्रिक डिस्चार्ज समझ में आया? अर्थिंग समझ में आया? अर्थिंग को रिविजिट करेंगे आगे जाके, फिर पढ़ना है. ज्यादा और कुछ चीज है नहीं. चार्जेस ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गया, चार्ज की कहानी. तो इलेक्ट्रिक डिस्चार्ज आपको पता होना चाहिए. एंड नाउ वी गो टू अ नेचुरल फिनोमेना. सो दिस इज आल्सो, चार्ज इज आल्सो समथिंग नेचुरल. तो यहां से आता है हमारा नेचुरल फिनोमेना. और आइए सीखते हैं समथिंग कॉल्ड लाइटनिंग. लाइटनिंग मत लिखिएगा, लाइटनिंग. लाइटनिंग, लाइटनिंग. आइए लाइटनिंग सीखते हैं. पहले बनाते हैं एशियन पेंट्स का बढ़िया सा एक घर, है ना. ये तेरा घर, ये मेरा घर, हमारा घर, प्यारा घर, दीवारें ऐसी शान सी, लगे मिशका की ना नजर. ये है हमारा घर, ठीक है ना. ये घर है. अच्छा, अब लाइटनिंग की कहानी सुनते हैं. So children, we are all aware of clouds. Okay, clouds are what? Built up of moisture which is getting accumulated in the atmosphere right above us. But that is not of importance to us. We are interested in something which is known as storm clouds. What are storm clouds? इसके ऊपर तो लोग कविता बनाते हैं, गाने गाते हैं. काले काले बादल, ये वो है. Storm clouds means dark, dense clouds which are accompanied during heavy what? Storm, wind blowing. Okay, एकदम horror show जैसा हो जाता है ना. Dark clouds. Storm clouds are what? Storm clouds will be dark. They will be very heavy, and they usually will come during the what? Stormy weather. So what comes is known as storm clouds. So storm clouds, I can't show dark cloud, so because ब्लैक तो दिखेगा नहीं ब्लैक में, सो वायलेट से दिखाते हैं. सो दीज आर माय स्टॉर्म क्लाउड्स व्हिच हैव कम एंड they are now deposited. They are very heavy, they carry a lot of moisture and other, right? And during the process when the storm clouds come, there will be a lot of wind also which is blowing. हवा बह रही है. There's the winds which are blowing, and as the winds blow, what they do, they carry the water droplets which are very heavy. The water droplets brush against the storm clouds. Okay, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है? There are these water droplets, and they brush, and the winds go, and then you will have another higher level of clouds will also be there. These are two, not level, I'll say layer. There's another layer, so we'll say layer 1 and this is layer 2. So there are storm clouds which are in two different layers, and during the storm clouds which are accumulated in the skies, there will be huge amount of storm breeze which is blowing, and the breeze will be brushing the water droplets against these storm clouds. Brushing matlab what? Charge ka adan pradan. Now this is a concept which is taken, that these, what do you call, the bottom portion, the bottom cloud in this process starts acquiring negative charge. This is not at your level. This understanding is beyond your, this is a very high level concept, not even 11, 12. Storm clouds at the lower level will develop what, beta? Negative charge. And as they start negative charge, so somebody should get the positive charge. These ये जो droplets ऊपर जा रहा है ना, ये जाके ऊपर में positive charge का build up करना शुरू कर देता है. After that, the concept is, I think you understand. And what you have here in between is known as the air gap. Air gap. Now, as the charge builds up and builds up sufficiently, right? So the baby is now ready to jump from one bed to the other bed. What they will do is that they will break the insulation of the air. Is a very good insulator, but air's insulation can also be broken. I don't know how many of you have gone to science museums. Like if you go to Goa Science Museum and all, you will see that there will be two bars out here, and they will show, you know, you have to press a button, then a high voltage spark will be here, bzzz, it will travel, and then touch karke alag ho jata hai. So what are you doing? You are basically ionizing. Your air is a bad conductor of electricity, but so much of static electricity is there on both sides that it is ionizing the air. Ionize kar dena matlab air ko conductive kar diya. Aapne air ko conductive kar diya hai. So the air gaps, this air gap, this insulation, this breaks, this insulation breaks. And once the insulation breaks, all you have is करके ऐसे मारेगा, lightning आएगा आपको. और ये lightning को हम बोलते हैं sheet lightning. This will be like a sheet. Lightning that occurs between two layers of clouds is known as sheet lightning. Have you understood? Lightning that occurs between two layers of clouds is known as sheet lightning. Clear? Right. But our friend Sarvesh's house is here, you know, and in his house he has got very nice little mango trees also, like this. Both sides lovely mango trees are there. Now in this case, there will be another form of lightning, because see, this is a negatively charged cloud. For this cloud, negative charge is also a charge. This particular, what you call, apartment, house, or the tree is a neutral object. Once it sees a neutral object, slurp, so it will try to pass the charge here also. This time the lightning will come in this method, and this is known as fork lightning. I hope you understand why it is called a fork, because it looks like a fork. So there are two types of lightnings that happen: sheet lightning and fork lightning. Sheet lightning happens when the lightning is seen between two layers of clouds. Fork lightning happens when the lightning is seen from clouds to anything on the ground, and that ground can be a tree, a house, or say our friend Anay on a stormy night is walking with an umbrella in his hand. सीधा electrocute. हाँ, फोटोग्राफ बन जाओगे, हर साल माला बदलेगी तुम्हारी, ठीक है ना? तो ये भाई साहब लाइटनिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आएगा नहीं? बताओ. Lightning. What is lightning? A natural phenomenon. What is it? Caused by storm clouds. What are storm clouds? Dark heavy clouds which are there in a stormy weather. These dark heavy clouds are deposited in the sky in layers, one layer above the other, and between the two layers there will always be air gap. As the dark clouds are deposited, there will be stream of air, and this air will actually brush all the water droplets through this cloud, and during the brushing process they will develop negative charge, and the cloud layer above them develop positive charge. Now when this charge deposition goes on increasing so much that it is sufficient enough to break the air insulation between them and ionize the air, then these charges mate against each other or mix up with one another creating a huge discharge with a large noise. One is known as thunder and the other is known as lightning. So the type of lightning that you see between two layers of clouds is known as sheet lightning. And if the lightning would have happened or if it would have struck on any object on the ground, sir, why does it strike on the ground? Simple, the ground object is neutral. It is hungry to strike on anything, pass the charge. At that time, the lightning is seen as a fork and it is called fork lightning. So, sir, you mean to say that my beautiful little house, which I built and painted with Asian paints, that house will also get shattered? Obviously. So, what is the protective device? The protective device that we fit in a house is known as the lightning conductor. In any building, tall buildings, cinema halls and everything, you will see something which is known as a lightning conductor or a lightning arrestor. Now what happens in this lightning arrestor? The height of the lightning arrestor is given much higher than the building. So if there is a chance of any fork lightning, okay, suppose any fork lightning happens, so the fork lightning will actually first go and hit what? The lightning conductor. So this object is known as, there's a question that will come up. What is the use of a lightning conductor? A lightning conductor is a protective device or a protective arrangement in which a copper conductor is fixed on a long pole, iron pole or a copper pole, which is actually much higher than the building. In the uneven scenario of a fork lightning striking that area, the lightning will always go and hit whom first? The lightning conductor. As a result, then it will travel through this to the ground. This process is also known as earthing. So whenever a question of earthing is asked, the lightning conductor and earthing are actually partners in crime. You have to speak about both. A lightning conductor or a lightning arrestor arrests the fork lightning and then makes it travel right to the ground, the process of which is known as earthing. And this wire which travels till the ground, or the pole which travels to the ground, this is known as my earth wire. In fact, inside the house also we have an earth wire. All rooms, these earth wires are also connected here. ये जो सेंटर वाला पिन होता है ना ऊपर में, वो अर्थ ही है. Those are all connected here, so that even if anything takes electricity, it will go down right here. Understood? So how to save yourself in the unforeseen of lightning? First of all, if there is lightning, please make some popcorn and watch a movie at home. Don't get out. If the lightning is too intense, switch off all electrical appliances and disconnect them from the outlet. The reason is, who knows, high voltage can travel through any electrical wire from the pole to your house. So number one is stay indoors. Stay indoors. Number two, avoid electrical appliances. Okay, nowadays lightnings are not so much dangerous for you because you all stay in high-rise apartment. There are many towers which will catch the lightning much before you. Avoid electrical appliances, disconnect them, disconnect from socket supply. That means you've completely isolated, right? This. And if you are in outdoor, खुदा ना खास्ता अगर आप outdoor चले गए, then walk in a stadium, in an open field, no, your chances of getting electrocuted is very high. Always take shelter. Take shelter. The more you roam around in open skies and open area, more is the chances of you becoming a photograph. Photograph means you understand? And lightning can be lethal. You have not seen, if when lightning strikes big trees like banana and coconut tree, it just leaves it into ashes. Some things which are not in your syllabus. Static electricity discharges huge quantity of electricity. They say if you can store the electricity that is discharged in 4 or 5 lightnings, it is sufficient to illuminate the whole state of Telangana for 7-8 months. So much, but still we don't have any technology to arrest that. That lightning is falling on you or a tree. You can actually Google and see images, trees which have been damaged by lightning, absolutely charred, jal jayega pura. huge electricity discharge happens. So if you are carrying an umbrella, you should not even, you should be just indoor and you should be under shelter, means anything which is taller than you, and don't embrace it, because if that gets lightning, you also get the light. So this is our one phenomena. Our next phenomena in this chapter is about earthquake, which we will do in our next class, that is next Wednesday. Monday practice hai. So this Monday we will do probability problems. I mean, we have not yet, we just heard stories on probability. Now we have to get into probability formula, and we will do some problems not only from grade 8, from grade 10 also. Ready? आराम से करोगे. Together here, either we will do or will not do. If we do it, people will applaud. Ah, grade 10 बच्चा grade doing it. And if we don't do, people will say, हाँ, understood. How can he do? He's only in grade 8. What are you losing? ऐसे देखने का ना. Right? So are we fine? ठीक है? So we study what is known as, ये थोड़ा देख लेना वीडियो में, अगर दया हो, इच्छा हो. Last class of probability is also uploaded on YouTube. If you feel like they're worth watching, please watch. If not, ignore. Okay, darlings and darlings. So catch you again